Here is the VRV, and that is the central trimmers. I think my VRV is damaged. I have hours of video adjusting the VRV and doing a test drive between home and the service station. So I removed the VRV. This is the shroud that goes on top of the VRV. Make sure that that is on your VRV because it can protect the innards from damage. I think what I have to do is maybe disassemble and try to clean the VRV, see if there are any broken parts in it. And this right here is the OE vacuum modulator. In that hours and hours of video that I have troubleshooting not only the VRV, but the vacuum modulator. You want to make sure that you use a green stripe vacuum modulator for the IDI trucks. So I think what happened is the vacuum booster on my truck died, and when the vacuum booster died, the truck was not shifting properly. And there, you could check the forums. Months ago, I said, oh, well, I'll drive it manually shifting it. And I think, I don't know, hopefully I didn't damage the transmission, but I think it was catastrophic failures. The vacuum booster died, and then my VRV gave out. I have a pressure gauge here. We'll hook up this pressure gauge to the C6, and we'll read some pressures in each gear range. I want to see if the transmission is still healthy. If it is, then I might go ahead and drop the pan again and install a manually shifted valve body, reverse pattern. And if I have some bad readings on these pressures, then I need to decide, am I going to scrap my Bullnose truck, or am I going to have the transmission rebuilt, or am I going to try to rebuild it myself? I've rebuilt a Turbo 400 and a Slim Jim Roto Hydromatic before, so I've been inside an automatic transmission. The Turbo 400 shifted fine. The Slim Jim Roto Hydromatic is a piece of junk. I could never get it to shift right, but I think that was the throttle valve setting. So I guess let's go ahead and go underneath the truck and get this guy installed. There is the transmission gauge. I already tested the transmission, and it can go into each of the ranges. So I'm going to start up the truck and make sure we don't have a leak. We're not going to do the test underway. We're just going to do it here in the shop. And that's Essential Trimmers. Okay, Battle, it's in park. I'm going to start her up. Here goes. Cross your fingers, Battle.
She's not leaking, Battle. That's park. 210 to 240 PSI. It's good I put the high pressure gauge on. That's stone cold. It's been off idle for almost 5 minutes, Battle. My coolant temperature gauge still isn't even registering. No leaks underneath. Still in park. I set up a fan there near the back so the shop wouldn't get stinky. That's with the vacuum modulator on the transmission disconnected. So that's an erroneous reading. I tried to step on the accelerator thinking it was my 71 Oldsmobile and I could take it off of fast idle, but I had disconnected the injection pump from the throttle cable since I took the VRV off. But I went ahead and plugged the leak that was from my vacuum pump, since the VRV isn't there right now. Still no transmission leaks. I just hooked up the VRV, loosey-goosey. She's been idling about 11 or 12 minutes, Battle, and the coolant temperature gauge is saying about 175. My electric fans aren't on yet. Thermostat is not open yet. Okay, Battle, my electric fans just kicked on. 185 per the coolant temperature sensor. In park, at idle, we're running 100 to 120 PSI. With the VRV at wide open throttle, we're 130 to 150 PSI. All right, Mama, just help me from park to reverse. We're at 90 PSI, 90 to 100 at idle. Wide open throttle on the VRV in reverse does not change the pressure reading. Of course, this is erroneous because since it's the same idle speed, the governor doesn't change. There's neutral, 100 to 120 PSI at idle for the VRV. Up to about 130 to 150 PSI, manually adjusting the VRV. We're going into drive. We're still 100 to 120 PSI at idle. Wide open throttle for the VRV doesn't change. I think this VRV is bad. There's second. A little bit lower pressure. That's interesting. 90 to 100 PSI. Wide open throttle on the VRV does not affect it. And it bumps up a little bit, 100 to 120, just like in drive. But for second, for some reason, it was lower. There's idle. And there's wide open throttle. No change in first. All right, this is going to be all with the VRV at idle. So we're in park. So Mama's going to reverse. 100 to 120. Mama went to neutral. 100 to 120. Now let's go to drive. 100 to 110. And next is second. That second is low. You could adjust the band. Maybe I need to adjust the band. But it's 90 to 100 PSI. And then first, it's still lower than drive. 100 to 110. So Battle, those are the pressures. My thermostat is open. My VRV was manually operated, so there was no governor affecting the transmission. I guess the question is the C6 healthy enough for a manually shifted valve body?
So, Battle, here are the pressures that I got from the C6 during the test. Let me know in the comments down below if you think the transmission is still healthy enough for a manually shifted valve body, or if I need to just go ahead and have the VRV rebuilt by the online supplier. Apparently, you can also get a cable-operated throttle valve for these trucks that replaces the vacuum modulator But unfortunately, it says right on the website of the supplier that it is not compatible with four-wheel drive models. There's just not enough room back there where the vacuum modulator mounts to the transmission. Thanks for checking out what I was doing in the shop today. And make sure you check out one of these other videos that I did on my Bullnose truck in the past. And I'll see you next time, Battle.
Like I said, I have hours and hours of test drive, and I could never get that VRV to shift right.
That transmission pressure drops instantly, doesn't it, Battle?